Hello, everyone, and welcome to this jam-packed week for Small Talk. My name is Ryan Cam. Thank you all so much for tuning in. The end of season 9 is upon us. And if you're watching this on Tuesday, that means that you'll be watching our reviews of season 9 episodes 19 and 20, that er, and then later on tonight, we'll be doing a watch along for the finale for season 9, and then we have one season left, which is just heartbreaking, but there you go. But joining me as always from 3D Movie Cinema in his new, sparkling new Green Lantern hat, it's Jacob Collins. Jacob, how you doing?
I am doing in brightest day and blackest night. No evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Ryan Reynolds light.
Not Ryan
Doing
Reynolds.
pretty well.
Matt Wyatt, how are you?
Doing good. This is going to be heartbreaking. Now we're going into one more season after a year, like almost 2 years since we've done small talk. It's just crazy how much that time has flown by.
Me in the future, find out, like, because it's escaping me in this moment. Find out when the first episode was posted and put it here because I was clean shaven. I was wearing that green vest. Like, my God. Like, and now here we
It was
are.
after the Flash. It was after the Flash movie. I know that. It was.
I think it was like sometime in the fall of 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was 2023, and I'm just thinking, like, can you imagine? We're almost done with this show. 10 seasons, by the way. 10 seasons. They're not even done yet. We surpassed Talkville, by the
But
way.
also, if we only covered like one episode per week, it would have been a lot more than 2 years.
It would have been a nightmare for Ryan because Ryan would have probably quit the show because Ryan's like,
He's like,
and
oh fuck, I'm giving it up.
because
Thank God we're doing three.
you have one episode that might be good, then two episodes that are shit, or three episodes that are really good. That's the anomaly. That's very rarely we've ever had that on the show. Usually it's one really good one, two mediocre ones, or it's two really good ones and one not so good one. I've never, or we've had before, and that's a rare one too, where three episodes that are just shit. That's a
Okay,
rare one.
so I found it because I put it together on my YouTube playlist for Small Talk each season. So I went to season one, and it was back in the first day of August of 2023 when we did the first three episodes of season one.
Oh wow. Well, still me in the future put in the lower third, but that's just crazy. Like
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
I love that song. But regardless, we do have some business we need to take care of in the form of reviewing season 9 episodes 19 and 20. Leave a like, subscribe, do the thing. We would greatly appreciate it very much. But let's get into it. This is season 9 episode 19 called My Sacrifice, except for the "my."
Initiating lockdown.
Get these doors open now. Watchtower's in control.
And we need to find Zod and confront him.
Hunting us to the death. You can't possibly think you're faster than me.
Smallville. All new episode this Friday at 8, 7 Central.
Tessa's latest intrusion at Watchtower and Chloe's excessive lookout mechanism lock the pair up, likely to be killed while Checkmate breaks through the last firewalls. Intruding, geez, IMDb corrector spelling, my goodness. In breaking into the Luthor mansion, Oliver faces Zod, whose abusive side reemerges now with superpowers. Clark must save his friends and hopes to do the same for the Kandorgans, one of which carries unsuspecting Zod's unborn child, but the all-round secrecy exacts terrible prices. So this episode is firmly split into two halves, and that you have a really, really strong half involving Zod and his wife and Clark and all of that. And then you have Chloe and Tess mucking around in Watchtower trying to figure out how to open a door. It's about as interesting as you think it is.
There is, I always say, I always tell you guys, there is an A storyline and a B storyline. The B storyline is actually really good, with Clark with Zod. Then the A storyline is just stupid. Like, first off, why would you have an alarm system basically that locks down and takes your oxygen away? What happened? Wouldn't Chloe have like a code word like Jimmy 1 2 3 or something like that? Wouldn't she have like a code word that way if that shit happens to her? that would not be the case where I'm like, hey, it's like locking your keys in your car, and then your car puts get poison gas in your car that because you
Or it's like leaving your keys in the house and you locked yourself out in your apartment.
and then your house tries to kill you by catching on fire.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know if it's because that Chloe does not want to take the risk of anyone trying to crack in the decryption of the password to get out of that place because it was made to lock down for any intruders like Tess herself or Checkmate.
Also, it doesn't contradict the last three episodes because Chloe and Tess were like that, in the last three
Well, that was
episodes.
like it's one of those things that they were enemies, but they're all like, hey, enemy of my enemy is my friend type of thing. But temporarily, they work together, then now they're enemies. So
And it's just like
they kind of play the same cycle in the last like two like previous two episodes.
it's like musical chairs with Chloe and Tess is like a character is written like a musical chair. She'll go both ways. Like she'll just go sit right here. She'll sit right here. She'll sit right here.
I
And
mean,
I'm
I
just
honestly thought that whole how that happened was kind of stupid that she broke into the watchtower just till you erase the archives from the Kandorians. That's your main goal. How did you think that this was going to turn out? That was so
also,
stupid to me.
the stupidest part is they're locked in there. Okay, they are locked in the thing. And then she goes, "Oh, the oxygen's going out of the room. I'm gonna shoot this thing with nitrogen. It's gonna blow up." And I'm thinking, do you know how oxygen works? If the oxygen goes out of the room, you fire a gun. Guess what's gonna happen? It's
It
not going.
catches fire. It catches fire, and you'll be going to whole flames.
You
Um,
it's gonna be like a
Did the
fire.
writers did not think that through, or they just like turn on your suspenders moment?
and then
I'm just
death.
saying there would be Clark would see an explosion, and then all you said you would see Tess and Chloe. It's like
Isn't it more like a Panic Room like 2.0 with Lex Luthor being doing that lockdown in season 5 when he's locked himself up in the room, losing
Yep.
oxygen and being all hot and sweaty in
and
that
don't and
Panic
doesn't
Room?
Lex have a gun then? But then like Alon wants to shoot the lock, but then he goes, "You can't shoot the lock because he said that we're losing oxygen and it will create an explosion." Like I
At
remember
least the
like
writers were smart about that, and then the writers
that's
that
because
they
that was
didn't
Miller
have
and Goff. That was Miller and Goff. They were smart.
exactly because they are not involved in this last three
They would
seasons.
have been like, hey, look, hey, they would have said to the writers, hey, look, let's have a word, let's have a conversation. Yeah. So what happens when oxygen is compressed and there is no oxygen and you fire a gun in a room? It explodes. Exactly. So wouldn't by them shooting even if they shoot something that has liquid nitrogen in it, that would still explode and kill everyone in that room, and it would also probably destroy the building itself. So should we really do that logic? I'm just saying. And like, you're right. You're right. What if instead of the oxygen, they just like, I would have just got rid of the oxygen part because I thought that was stupid. Because it's like, it seems like Chloe is like Jigsaw now because she's like, okay, not only are you going to lock the intruder in there, but you're also going to drain them of oxygen. It's like,
I mean, you never know. She could be Jigsaw. You never know. That'd be a plot twist.
Chloe's like, I want to play a game.
Listen, Tess,
Are you?
I want to play a game.
But yeah, that whole thing with the door and the oxygen, I was just like, if Mythbusters did this, it would be so totally busted. It would be no business.
Maybe they should have watched the show Mythbusters and they would have took notes.
Also, I do like the Clark trying to track down Zod, and like him and Feyor are kind of having like they're teaming up together, and they're like trying to do stuff together. I like Clark and Feyor's dynamic duo kind of thing because that's like the third or fourth episode where they're like together teaming up and stuff, and
This is
I
like
like
this is like the second time they teamed up in the season. Now he's
I
willing
like
to,
that.
yeah, but I like that part, and now he's starting to come clean about who Zod really was when he destroyed Krypton and give him the journal. And actually, because he brought it up that the reason why I haven't told you sooner because he really think that Zod can change, but now he's already far off the edge of saving at this point.
I do think that Feyor not wanting to be a soldier, but wanting to be Kandor's to live in peace. And I
Mhm.
do think that I like the fact that Clark, there's one thing that made me in this episode I was waiting to tell you guys, waiting so long because me and Matt have seen this.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like I was waiting because I was like when Zod, like when Clark's met Feyor in the future, he
Yeah,
knows
because you watch in season 8 when Fiora was the Phantom in the Phantom Zone, and when Lois got out of the Phantom Zone,
yeah.
she took her over as a host, and she bring up this whole exposition to Davis Bloom that we were unable to have children when we were together, and now it seems to be revealed that her duplicate is pregnant. And she was able to bear children with Zod. My only explanation is that maybe her original host couldn't bear a child, but I
Because
think
later
that
down the
but
line.
I think that now that their DNA and their duplicates are now like fresh and new, and now they're have different whatever it is that you want to call it, the organs that they were able to now procreate.
You
Maybe
know what this means,
that's my
right?
only explanation. I can't think of anything.
Matt,
That's
I got the explanation right here. The Phantom Zone makes you sterile.
I
Okay.
guess.
The Phantom Zone with Clark, all of a sudden, it's just all of a sudden, whenever he's being sucked out of his body, his nuts are going ah. All of a sudden, then you hear Obi-Wan go. There was suddenly all of a sudden all those screams of sperms go away. That the million voices of sperms died and saw its nutsack. As if like remember the scene in like Oh New Hope where he's just like millions of voices called out in terror as
And
they
cry down in terror, suddenly silence.
that was Zod's nutsack that day. The sentence I was like
Apparently his nutsack didn't agree with him.
but I will say though I did think I do there's one thing that actually was like what I was getting at where originally I was gonna say I do like that Clark. The whole idea of the season is like how Clark tried to save Lex. He was trying to save Zod from becoming the General Zod in the future that he fought and that is a monster. I think in Feyor, he saved Feyor though. I like that he saved her, like redeemed her because she's not a monster. She dies a good person, and I thought
Yeah,
that was
because
one
when
that
we know her for her duplicate, like this was her before she became a monster and a violent dictator right hand made with Zod in the original Fiora. So yeah, it's great to see a little different side of her that we haven't seen before. That now she's like more complex,
she
but
doesn't want
also
to
have more
destroy the world.
compelling.
Yeah, she doesn't want to conquer the earth and all that. She's like, I just want my people to live in peace. And we want to move forward. And I think that's one thing I really liked about that was like the whole episode. And but Zod's like, no, I want to conquer and dictate, and
Yeah,
well,
and I mean, you brought it up before, Jake, that you think that the checkmate in Amanda Waller didn't really need to be in the storyline, which I think that it was kind of needed to be because it was trying to show you an example that Zod does not believe that the humans will ever side with the Kryptonians, and they think that they need to be conquered and ruled. And this whole kidnapping shenanigan with the Kandorians, and now with Zod trying to pin it on Amanda Waller for the murder of Fiora so that Zod's followers can follow him as a general and as a leader in order to push forward in this. And this was like the prime example of it.
yeah, well, I mean, I understand. Look, I will give you that. Although I do still think that the checkmates, like when it's with Zod and them, I liked it. But when it was just like about Clark and them,
Yeah,
I thought that's when I'm like,
I
okay.
hear you. Yeah. But also the one thing, you remember that hacker dude who's actually miraculously is back? I mean, we know he's not dead, but he got shot and got into a coma. Now suddenly he's a badass secret agent.
Yeah, I know. It's like,
It's like,
what
dude,
is this
it's
logic?
only been months. Like, what?
What is this logic here? Like, I was like, I don't
Where's
understand.
the logic in that? Somehow now you're broken. Now you're such a badass secret agent as for checkmate.
I mean,
He's supposed to be an agent for Checkmate and like Lex Luthor's sort of kind of assistant and a CEO. Just like, like, like we were talking about last week. Like her motivation it exists on a Price is Right wheel. Like her biography exists on one too. Like it's a Mad Lib of like Tess is name a position here representing this firm or Tess is an agent of insert ominous name of government agency here.
to quote
I
to
mean,
quote
this is what happens when you lose. When he lost an eye, he thinks he's Nick Fury.
basically Tess Mercer is the Johnny Sins of Smallville. Basically, she's an astronaut, she's a doctor, she's a lawyer. If you get that reference, shame on you for getting that reference. But if you don't get the reference, props to you, man. But like, yeah, I was like, yeah, she's basically the Johnny Sins of like Smallville, where she, there's a joke about Johnny Sins where he's like, he's a doctor, he's a lawyer, he's an astronaut, he's a Google Johnny Sins, you'll get the joke. I
The
would not recommend you guys Google Johnny Sins,
in the
you,
future put something regarding Johnny Sins here.
but anyway, there's always been that joke that he's a doctor, he's a lawyer, he's an astronaut, and so yeah, I remember like Voice Critical or Asbel talking about him, or whatever, and so that's what he used to say. Like people used to make a joke about how he plays all these different characters in his movies, and so I think Tess Mercer. That's why I see Tess Mercer. I think about that. I'm like she is a CEO. She is a businesswoman. She is a spy. She's this. She's that. She's a humanitarian. She's Oliver's love interest. And then she's like, I'm just thinking, it's literally like they had like 50 different characters they just shoved into one character, and they're just like. Also, I mean, and there's even stuff in season 10 that they even add more to like her to where you're
Oh,
just like,
oh man, I
you're
have a
just like,
lot to
what
say
the
about that. I was like, What? We'll
What?
get it. We'll burn that bridge when we
What?
get there. Once it's season 10,
It's
the
like the
reveal.
writers really, really want us to know this character is important. They're just like, you
Like,
have no.
did we really need that storyline of that reveal? Did
Yes,
they
in
need a
season 10, there was
retcon? Did
this
they need to
storyline
retcon her
where you're just like,
backstory?
oh, go fuck yourself,
Did they
right?
really need to
No.
retcon that storyline?
They
Seriously?
retcon something that the original showrunners did. And even more to where you're like, it's really nice when it's when shitty showrunners try to retcon the good showrunners and make something shit out of something good. It's really nice because, that really, like, I'm sure Smallville fans really appreciate that. I'm really sure that Smallville fans really appreciate that. I will say, I do think, though, Zod killing Feyor and Feyor being pregnant, I thought that was really well done, where he just strangles her. It's like, kneel. And she goes, I'll never kneel for you again. And he strangles her. And then he just accepts her fate. Like, after he hears that last heartbeat, he's like emotional. And then he just stands up like this and goes, like, she's dead. What are you gonna do? Like, she looks at it, it just looks like she's dead.
He
Nothing
felt no remorse when he killed her. When he like crushed the life out of her,
he
and
goes
and then he was a super hearing. He heard a heartbeat. That's when he just regretted that. That's was even worse. I
yeah.
mean, he
And then
had no problem with killing
and
Fiora,
after
but he had no clue that she was carrying his child.
and then afterwards, after he hears the last heartbeat, that's when he looks at the camera, like, asks for it, and he goes from being remorseful to being like, it had to be done. Like, when he just looks like his
No, he
face just
looked
goes,
more sad when he found out that there's a kid that was his. He
yeah, but
never
then
wanted if he had known, he wouldn't have done it. He would not have taken her life.
oh, I don't think he would have done. But then again, like, I like, though, that Zod is kind of like, he's kind of like, remember in Man of Steel when he kills Jor-El, and Zod's like, not a day goes by that I don't regret it, but if I do it again, I would for my people. And I think that Zod would do that again. He's like, look, not a day goes by that I don't regret killing Feora, but if I had to kill Feora all over again to do for me,
well, no, but that was kind of the different type of Zod. But this one, like, he would not be willing to kill his own unborn child, because if you look back in the Kandor episode, he was desperate to bring his own son back, and he begged Jor-El to make a duplicate of his own son, and he refused, because that was the only thing that kept his humanity alive. Without his heir, then he is completely violent, gone down the dark path. If he had gone down the other way, if he had a kid, and if he did what he was told, he would have been a different man. It's what kept his humanity. And that's why, for this Zod, he felt, for the moment, that he felt moment of regret of killing Fiora with his unborn child. If he had known, he wouldn't have done it.
I think honestly, after he killed her, I didn't think he regretted it, but I think, because you could see, like, afterwards, he just looks, his face is like, it goes from, like, shock to, like, like, he goes back to being calm and composure, like, where he's like he's ready to start killing people. And he does do it. He goes and murders Waller and everybody at Checkmate, because he's like, he blames them for, like, you turn, like, he basically they revenge the Sith. He revenged the Siths, like, everybody there, because you know what? Have you noticed that, though? There's a lot of similarities to Darth Vader and Zod.
I mean, he didn't know. He just wanted to wipe them out. He just wanted to wipe them out and pin it on Amanda Waller that they're the ones that killed Fiora, and lie to his own people so that they can have the motivation to follow him and conquer the whole world. Because they were going on a different path with Fiora because they were divided, but now he had more reason to bring them together.
Yeah, but don't you think that, like, there's a lot of similarities to Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah, I hear you. It was pretty much reminiscent.
It feels like their blockbuster haul this week was Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, this was a blockbuster haul. Oh, right. No, since you brought it up, because you remember Revenge of the Sith when he was angry when Obi-Wan showed up and you force choked the life out of her.
You turned her against me.
You have done that yourself.
You will not take her from me.
You will not take her from me. But I don't care. I mean, I love Revenge of the Sith, but even though we can make fun of it, but that was so great. But yeah, it does have the similarity. When he was so angry, he chokes the life out of her, and then his unborn child died, and along with her. And it kind of felt some reminiscent to Revenge of the Sith when he did the Padme. And that, you definitely brought up a good point.
I mean, that's what I was thinking about. What was the blockbuster haul this week? And I just think there's two movies that caught my mind. For this episode, Revenge of the Sith. For the next episode, I would say it's definitely Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
That's for sure, yeah.
That's a movie?
Yes, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
I never seen it.
They remade the movie with Bernie Mac in 2003 called Guess Who.
Oh, I did see that one. That I did see.
Yeah, Guess Who Was Coming to Dinner was about, like, a white family and a white woman brings her black boyfriend over to dinner, and it makes the white people feel uncomfortable.
That's the one. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner is what you're describing.
Yes, and that was Sydney. I think Sydney something, Sydney Pollock or Sydney Lemoy or whatever his name is. He was the
Poitier.
back in Sydney Mortier was the one who
It's Poitier, dude.
Sydney Poitier. Okay, okay. I don't know his name. I know his name's
That's
Sydney. So Sydney
that's the
Poitier
best.
was the one who come to dinner in
That's
the
the best we're
original.
gonna get, folks.
And then in the remake, which is Bernie Mac, Ashton Kutcher's a white. They
Yeah,
reversed it and said
it's
the
the
black.
opposite. It's completely the
Yeah,
opposite when a black woman is dating a white man, bringing him home to the family, and
yeah.
the dad is not happy with it.
It was back in the day when you could cast a Mexican woman to play a black woman. Because guess what? Zoe Saldana is
I mean,
not
isn't
black.
she mixed? Is she mixed
No,
black
she's
Hispanic?
Dominican. She's Dominican,
Oh,
dude.
Dominican. Yeah, she's Dominican. Yeah, you're right. You're right. She is
But back then
Dominican.
they didn't care. They were just like, she
Yeah, it's
looks
like,
like
don't worry. Who's gonna know? No one's gonna
It's
tell the
like they cast
difference.
The Rock. Remember when they cast The Rock? They used to cast The Rock as like black actors. Like, remember he played Roadblock and G.I. Joe? And you're just
Yeah,
like,
yeah, they did.
and then he played a white guy in like the freaking Gridiron Gang in San Andreas. So you're
I
just like,
know that was so.
okay,
I
all
mean,
right,
I
fine.
love Gridiron Gang. I mean, I understand that was a little
They
odd that
showed
they.
a picture. They
I mean,
showed a
wasn't it? But
picture
wasn't it?
of
But wasn't
him
it
and the white
Gridiron?
guy.
I mean, hold on. Wasn't a Gridiron Gang more of an inspired true story? Even though
No, it was
these
a
events,
real
yeah, but
story.
these
It was
are
a
real
real
people. But they
story.
probably took that idea and made it their own. If
They
that
showed
makes
a
any sense.
video of the
And
guy at the end, the one The
I
Rock.
know what they did. I've seen the movie.
And I'm just there watching that going, I'm watching that going, they had to show the guy. You're just watching, you're like, you see the guy, The Rock, is inspired by The Rock, and you're just like, this guy looks nothing like Dwayne Johnson at
No, he
all.
looks nothing like Dwayne Johnson. Looks
He's not
nothing
even
like he
black.
had a
He's not
mustache.
even
He had a
remote.
mustache, long hair. He was a little overweight. That's like overweight white guy.
It's like literally like Kevin James would have been a better casting choice than The Rock. It's like
Kevin James is pretty skinny nowadays, so I don't think that would fit.
back in 2005.
Okay,
20
yeah,
years ago,
that,
20
that
years
would make
ago.
okay, yeah, that would make sense.
I'm about to say back, yeah, 2005, not now, but back in 2005,
Dude,
or
Chris
even
Farley, if Chris Farley were alive, what if he casted him to in the Gridiron Game? Now that would be great.
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill,
All
yeah.
right, now you
But
know
he
who
was
would
too
be the
he was
best.
too young. But he was way too young to play
You
that
know,
character.
if he was still alive back in 2005, Philip Seymour Hoffman would have been a great choice.
Oh, Philip Seymour Hoffman would have been a perfect cast. I would
He
believe that he
would
definitely
have
would have had
crushed it.
more gravitas as
He
much as
would have
Dwayne
crushed it.
Johnson. Yeah.
I will say though, I do like that Zod burning Oliver. I thought that was great. How he just burned.
Dude, that was such a dude. Remember he just toasted one of Tess's security guard in that mansion.
No,
He
it was
fucking,
it was a checkmate agent that
I thought that was Tess's people.
that
I thought that
Tess
was
sent
one.
to spy on him. That Tess sent to spy on him.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. You're
He just
probably
he
right.
said
But that
he
dude,
said
that
I
was so
tortured him and I
graphic.
killed him.
Dude, that was so graphic. That dude is so ruthless. Like the moment he just torched that guy, yeah, he's far gone. He's too far beyond saving at this point. He's becoming more the Zod that we now know.
He is General Zod. Like he
Yeah,
is
he's
100%
now General
his.
Zod. This felt, yeah, but
And killing
what you
Feyor
said
was
about
the
Revenge
last
of the
straw.
Sith. Yeah, but this is what you said about in Revenge of the Sith, that this was the birth of the villain that we now know, while Zod is now the birth of the character that we now know, a violent, menacing dictator.
And Clark knows that there's nothing. Clark knows now that there's no stopping him from being this character.
Yeah, no matter
Like,
how
even
many
if
times you
it's-
try to help him and try to be friends with him, but he's giving you more reason to not trust him.
Well, I think Clark saw it and he
he's not
changed.
going to run away from his true nature. This is always going to be who he is.
The biggest mistake Clark made was saving his life because he died
Well, he
for
well he
saving a
well he
human.
had to do it. Well, he had to do it. He's not going to let him die. I mean, that's not what Superman is.
Yeah.
Even though with Superman, he's all about being a good person. He's all about saving everyone, even if they don't deserve to be saved, because that's always been who's Superman. He was not going to be one of the people. He's not going to be like fucking Batman in Batman Begins, where he's just letting the villain just die and just leave him there for dead. I don't
Or
have to
not like
save you.
Henry Cavill where he snaps his fucking neck.
Well, that was a different circumstances. He had no other choice. That like we will get into that debate when we get into Man of Steel, but that's different.
Hey, Clark should have snapped his neck and that would have been the end of it.
Well, on that note, we should get to
wait. I got a few more notes and then we'll go. I just got a few more notes. I will say I thought Clark Zod destroying Checkmate was great. I really thought that was like I just thought that was a really good idea. When he just whenever Clark like whenever Zod just goes to Checkmate and burns it down and kills Waller and all them. I thought that was really cool. And I also like I like how at the end he gives a speech and like how he lies and says, "Oh, Feyor," and then he basically because Feyor, there's like because they were divided. Those groups of Kryptonians, they were divided, And then after he kills Feora and stuff, he says, "See, the humans are the enemies." He kind of like Magneto. He gives the humans are the enemies, and we're not the enemies, and we are gonna conquer them. And so they're like, "Yeah." And so I like that idea where Clark's like realizes now that it's war.
Now the ending feels more of X-Men First Class.
Yeah, he's like, this is, and what he's wrong. Zod's just trying to start a war to like wipe out humanity, and I thought
Yeah,
that was really
he's
well
doing
done.
what he was to set out to do, conquer the world of
Also, I
humanity.
like when Chloe Pulp Fiction tests.
Oh yeah, that scene. Oh yeah, when she takes the
When she
injector to
Pulp
stop
Fiction
her
tests.
heart, just
Yeah,
stabs her in the middle of the heart. Oh my God. And that would have been very dark if he would have left her ass to die. There's moments where I kind of like, no, please let her die.
but yeah, if I had to give this a grade, you know what? I think the needs outweigh more than the less, so I'm just gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay, Matt.
Yeah, the more we talk about it, the more it's starting to make the episode even better, even though that A storyline was kind of the weakest, but I'm with
The Zod
Jake
stuff
on
is
here.
great.
It's yeah, because the Zod and the storyline are what the strength of the episode that overlooks the negatives. So I'm going to give it an 8 as well.
We are in agreement. I'm going 8 as well. This was a good episode. There's some stuff I didn't like, but the likes definitely outweighed the dislikes on this one. But we got one more episode to go before the finale, and oh man, is it a doozy. It is season 9, episode 20, called Hostage.
I'm so proud of everything you're doing. The world needs Clark Kent. The truth is, your father and I didn't want you in the line of fire. You can't comprehend what it means to truly protect someone you love.
Smallville. All new episode this Friday at 8/7 Central.
Clark is surprised when Martha Kent returns to Smallville for a visit, and he's in for another surprise when she brings along her new boyfriend, Perry White, whom, after he learns of Clark's dismissal from the Daily Planet, wants to help Clark reclaim his job by trying to acquire the position as editor-in-chief. I wonder how that's going to turn out for him. Meanwhile, Chloe and Clark try to find a way to stop Zod and his army of Kandorians before they can take over the Earth. So, Annette O'Toole is back, and I was initially thinking, oh, it's just going to be a nice little cameo. No, 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 she's the Red Queen, and I'm not talking about
That
Helena
pisses me
Bonham
off.
Carter in a crappy Tim Burton movie. She is the Red Queen, like the head of Checkmate in this show. And true story, I was editing last week's episode, and I was looking up images for images for Checkmate, and I saw out of the corner of my eye, I saw Annette O'Toole as the Red Queen. I'm like, that's a part of the finale spoiled for me. I'm gonna have to pretend to like be shocked when
That's why you need to stay off of IMDb before watching the episode.
he was
Stay
on
off of
he
They
was on
spoil
Google
everything,
Images.
dude. They spoil everything when they even with the synopsis. They don't give you the plot. They give you the whole thing.
I
I
know, but
remember last week when we were reading The Simpsons for Hannibal, and
Yeah, I
all
was
of a
like, what the
sudden I heard the whole
part of my
fucking
mind was
thing.
like, please, I'll
Right.
stop, please stop. Don't read the
I
rest of
was
it.
like, well, oh fuck
Like,
you
I was like,
then.
okay, thank you for giving that
Oh,
whole away.
but
fuck
Video
you then.
over.
but I can safely say, but I can safely say that it is revealed in like the penultimate sequence of the episode, and then pretty much she just tells Clark, "Yeah, I'm the Red Queen. I did it to protect you." In a very nice moment. And Ed O'Toole just is amazing in this show. It's nice to
You
see her
know,
back, and nice to see Michael McKean back too. Which I mean,
Oh
her
yeah, Perry
husband in real
White,
life.
Perry, yeah, because they are
I wonder how
MMO2.
they got him, her husband. I wonder how they got her husband right to come back with her. That's a far fetch that they got him to come back. That was a really I'm sure they didn't take. Yeah, this is how it went. Hey, Michael, I'm going back to Smallville. You want to come with me?
or
Sure,
why
why not?
not?
Why not?
I wonder if they had to pay them both like separately, or they could just be like, I wonder if we can get them since they're a couple. I wonder if we can get like a discount rate.
It's like a package deal or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just glad that we saw the two returning characters, especially with Martha Kent. She was last time we saw her was the finale of season 6. It was been like ages ago when she came back on the show as a guest star. I feel like she never left. I
By
feel
the
like we're
way,
back to seeing the Martha Kent we know.
well, I mean, I will say this. Okay, first off, it's great to see Michael. What's his name? Michael K. White.
Michael McKean.
Michael McKean. Sorry, I just know him as Chuck from Better Call Saul.
Oh yeah, well he's awesome in that show, and Michael K. White is Omar from The Wire.
Yes, I know. Yeah, Michael K. White. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Omar, you
I
don't
just
know.
I'm on season 2 of Better Call Saul. So like I said, I'm just sitting. I just got past an episode where like they're this like drug dealer, the old man, the old man, Jonathan Banks, whatever his name is.
No
It,
spoilers for Better Call Saul. I haven't finished the
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
I
I'm
still
on
haven't even
season
finished
2.
season one.
Let's be
Uh,
careful, Collins. Let's be careful.
but it's so far I'm enjoying. There's like a joke with a Jeep that made me die. I'm sure you got the reference, the Jeep.
Oh yeah.
That's a fucking hilarious joke. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, Matt, but it's a funny ass joke where this drug dealer is like talking about how shit about this Jeep. But it's really fun.
Oh
It's like,
yeah, that part it's phenomenal.
but yeah. Anyway, but yeah, this episode, I honestly liked. I thought it was a stretch though that she would date Perry White. I'm like that to me was a stretch. I'm like the only reason why they're dating is because they needed a reason for both of them to be in the episode,
I
and I'm
mean,
pretty
Mhm.
sure.
they do try to justify it by saying that he was getting too close to the Book of Rouse, so they started up this whole thing.
But also this episode, it was just like she's trying to move on, but but every time when she goes back to her home, it's just reminding of what she lost for Jonathan Kent, and
There's
that
a
it's difficult to really in love someone else when you love someone that just becomes your whole world and it comes crashing down when you lose someone. And in her coming back to that farm, you could see that she was a little sad. It brings back some of the memories because she's been gone for like so many years as a politician. And now she's
Back when
back
she
on the
was
farm,
there,
becoming the mother, becoming the farmer, like with this Clark and Jonathan.
back when she was there, the cinematography changed. The cinematography was still good, and now it looks like somebody took a piss stain on it. It's like, what happened?
the good point, yeah. But but there's a shot in this episode that just made me it hit me right here. It's where Perry's wearing Jonathan's old jacket and he's standing in the doorway and Martha like sees him. I'm just like, man, I miss John Schneider all the time in this show, but just especially
Oh
in
man.
this moment.
Oh man. Yeah, because what John Schneider brought to that performance, that he really gave us a definitive Jonathan Kent, especially when we had 5 seasons with him and brought more humanity to who Clark is and how they were able to
Yeah.
deliver the performance, especially with Anna O'Toole. She still is crushing it. Even if it's a bad episode, she really brings out the best of it.
Lois and Clark sort of kind of break up, but I mean, I suppose I don't know. I wasn't a fan of that decision, but I guess it's gonna lead towards something. But man, like
One thing I want to bring up, I know that this was like ages ago, but when Zod was impersonating himself as the Blur when they were talking on the phone, she literally could not like recognize the different voice and the accent too. Wow, you're speaking in British accent. What the hell did that come from? You
well,
speak American. Like,
Collins and
how
I
did
were
she not
Col-
realize that?
Collins and I were talking about it off air, and Collins, you were telling me that the showrunners treat Lois like Miller and Goff treat Lana.
Exactly. Like literally, Lois is a great character. At least all 7 seasons, she's a well-written character. Even as it Ryan goes, we would rather have Lois. Yes, because Lois is not a. And then it seems like after season 8, it seems like after the first 3 episodes of season 8, the new showrunners were like, well, we need a Lana character. Let's just turn Lois into Lana and just make her love story. And I'm like, that's not the character that was written for 7 seasons, or not 7, but she was in. She's not in there. To be fair, she wasn't in the show for 7 seasons, but like she was in a show from 4 to 7. That 4, 5, 6, 7. For those 4 seasons that she was on the show with Miller and Goff, she was a well written character. That she was funny, even at her weakest moments. Like one of the weakest moments in the show was whenever she got exposed to the love potion in season 5 or 6 or season 6. Yeah, it's season 6.
Yeah.
She was still
Yeah.
a great character. They made it funny, where it's like, I remember watching that where she gets the love potion and then all of a sudden she gets like Clark a mixtape, and then all of a sudden he super speeds away from her. That was a funny moment. I like that. But instead now it's just like now it's like, remember like when they did that same shit this season, you're just like, this is just bad, or Lois is like, we're gonna break up. And it's like, oh, go fuck yourself, okay? I'm like, no, I don't give a shit about Lois now. You're making Lois like you're taking the piss out of Lois, you know? You're just like Lois is a badass character that punch a dude in the face. And then this is a character that you make her like, oh, I'm just the bitch of the story, you know? Like, I'm just like, you know, when Tess Mercer, like literally, they figured out how to get rid of Tess and the Chloe. They figured out the Chloe situation. Like, oh, we're not going to make Chloe an annoying character anymore. Let's make Chloe basically Oracle from Batman. And oh, also, and Tess is going to be like the Johnny Sins character, where she's every single thing in one. She's a jack of all trades. Instead, now it's like, and then you got all of a sudden you got Lois over here, who's just the Alana Lang, where it's like, Clark, are you going to be with me? Clark, are you going to?
I think that's a little bit of far-fetched of what you're describing. I have to disagree on that one. I'm gonna have to be on the opposite side of it. Yeah, the breakup stuff was a little stupid, but it's still a tough Lois Lane we now know. She just found someone that she truly does love, and I bought into the love story. I don't see it as the Lana character. She's always been the tough character on that show, regardless of how much they changed it up a bit in this last 3 seasons.
I think this with these last 3 seasons, I think honestly Miller and Goff would have went a different approach with that.
It's just that Lana was just more of a fucking annoying drama queen. That's all she was, the damsel in distress, and nothing to add to the story whatsoever. That's all she ever was. Nothing to do nothing to do with her.
Well, Lois, what made Lois so great though is like, yeah, I do agree. She does have some moments in the season that are great, like the Metallo and everything. Like, you know, I thought that episode.
I mean, she's always, but every now and then, no matter how tough she is, she's always going to show her vulnerability side of her.
But
Nobody's perfect.
This Lois just
because that's how you evolve her characters. They change and evolve. Same thing with Chloe. You started off as being her annoying character in at least 3 seasons. Now she really changed and evolved, become more mature and becoming more of the Oracle. Now she's becoming more of the heart and soul of the series. That's how its character arc.
I love Lois as a character, but especially her. I was like, this is like the 6th or 7th time you've teased a breakup this season. I'm just sitting.
No, I do agree. The breakup stuff was ridiculous. I don't like that. It was annoying as hell. Like, shit or get off the pot. Let's just fucking get this over.
They don't know how to get off the pot, Ryan. That's what
shit or get off the pot. They can't.
They don't.
That was the only weaknesses that I did not like. It's like, dude, fucking tell her. Stop with this whole breakup, like on and off again bullshit roller coaster ride.
Pot. They see is a pot. With Lois Lane, they see a pot. They see a pot and they say, look, we're going to make her sit on it because that's all we have to do with this character this moment. We don't know what to do. If we take her off the pot, she's just going to be there to like, hey, she's basically the Robin in Adam West's 66 Batman, where she just tags along and doesn't really have no arc.
Well, Jeepers Batman.
Holy G. Willikers, Clark. Let's go.
No.
But I'm saying that's literally what she is. You have to have something to do. So like, well, we have to really say, and that's I agree. I do think that there are some things that the character does fantastically, but then there are some things where it's like, okay, we have Lois. Like I actually would rather than just not put Lois in the episode if she's not, rather than doing some love triangle garbage shit. It's either love triangle with Lois or a breakup with Lois. That's the two things they have with Lois. You know,
that was only the weaknesses of the show that they kept constantly do. It's not the only show that does love triangles. I mean, Twilight just pretty much ruined the whole fucking love triangle and made that more of an effect.
I'm a vampire.
Team Jacob, Team Edward.
Look, I don't know. It's like that movie should be like a lesson of acting of like what not to do. It's like the Michael Bay lesson.
Even recent shows now that they stopped doing love triangles and they're more like self-aware and it doesn't fall for the cliche that we've seen in the past less 10 to 20 fucking years of television show when they always have, even when you like, hey, you break up with one person and then you go out with somebody else and then you meet your ex and they get jealous. But there's this one without spoiling anything about his Invincible season 3. This character's ex meets up with again, goes out with somebody else, and doesn't do the jealous type. Just like, hey, I'm happy for you. As long as you're happy, I'm happy thing. I was like, thank God. You think that was going to go in one direction, and then it turns a 180 on you.
Well, I think honestly, like literally, one thing I will say though, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, when it came to love triangles, they did it better because they absolutely knew how to do it. Like Joss Whedon knew how to do it better. He wasn't trying to basically make it like, you know, like he wasn't trying to make it annoying because he knew, like, okay, because when I'm not. Like, here's the thing. Okay, I'm not trying to be this guy. I'm not trying to sound sexist or nothing. But when it feels though, a man who writing for Buffy knew how to do a love triangle better than a woman who wrote Twilight, where just basically it feels like she's writing her own fan fiction, where it's like, I'm a vampire. Okay, like. I'm
Twilight
gonna
boy.
say
Let's
my name, okay? Rar, rar,
Say it.
rar,
Say it out loud.
rar.
Say
let
it.
let's
Say it.
let's not discuss Twilight here.
That would be
It's like
great.
I
That would
hate
be such a great marathon watch party, the Twilight
Twilight.
movies. Just make fun of the shit out of that movie and get fucking
Don't
drunk.
give Ryan ideas. Do not give Ryan ideas.
Coming soon to the channel. Twilight Terry. Twilight Terry.
Like
Twilight Terry.
Twilight Terry, Twilight Terry.
I'm
I'd rather watch Freddy Got Fingered again.
Oh my God, you
let me
must really love that movie a lot. You got
I'd
a
rather
hard
watch.
on for
Look,
that
honestly,
movie.
honestly, one thing I got that night. Ask Ryan that night.
No,
As
I
we
mean I
watched
can tolerate
that
watching a
whole
shitty
weekend, I was
Twilight. I
caught
hear
on
say
the loop.
I can tolerate watching a shitty Twilight movies, but if I have to watch Freddy Guy Finger again, I have to pour acid in my fucking brain. If I ever watch that fucking atrocious
I
movie,
will say one thing. It did pay off everything it set up. Freddy Got Fingered.
It
That's
did.
one thing I will say positive. Everything it
I
set
want
up.
to. I watched it once, and I want to neuralize myself and forget all about ever watching that movie again.
It
You know,
did.
I was actually, the funny thing is Tom Green was on Bill Maher's podcast the other day, and he said that when he made Freddy Got Fingered, his idea was he was inspired by Eraserhead, and he said he basically wanted to make it like push the envelope, how Lynch pushed the envelope, and he said every idea he did in the movie, he said he knew it was going to get like backlash, and he said in fact the studio was like, shouldn't you cut this to X? He goes, no. He goes, the only thing his studio pushed back was he had a gay uncle in this movie where like he said when he walked in, his gay uncle was making out with an Indian dude, and the dude was dressed like an Indian, an actual like Native American Indian. And he said that they said, that's too far. You got to cut the gay stuff out. And like everything else in the movie, they were like, you're cool with. But whenever it came to a dude making out with another dude, that's where you drew the line. Like there's a scene where I'm jerking off a horse, but that's okay. But the scene where like the two dudes are making out, that's where you draw the line.
2001, the things you do to us. But
But
what
I will say though, I do like Lois and Perry teaming up. I thought that was well done.
Yeah,
yeah,
I was gonna bring that up too. I did love their dynamic, and it was great seeing Perry White come back to see that he's sober now and he's willing about doing, like, getting every story but doing the right thing and saving the world because that's who he was back in the day. I love that moment with him and Clark when they're in the front porch before he starts to trying to ask him for his blessing to marry his own mom.
I do like the callbacks to that season 2 when Perry White, where essentially, like, remember he sees the drink in his hand.
Oh
He
no,
goes, "Oh no, this is
correction. That was season 3.
season 3." Sorry.
Oh, yeah, good point. Yeah.
See, he saw the drink and he goes, "Oh, don't worry, it's soda. It's club soda." He goes, "I don't want to say I saw what he said." And he's like, "Okay." And then later on, Perry has the same exact thing that happened in season 3.
Oh yeah, remember, yeah, the one at the top
of
of the roof. He's like, "Hey, I've done this before. Hey, my first rodeo."
I just like
Such a
that to me. I was like, I love the
that was done on
callbacks.
that was definitely on purpose. That was such a parallel to what happened in season 3 when he like tries to jump himself off the damn cliff to have Clark use his powers, and then they have to climb all the way back, get pulled by with Pete and Lana. That was a really good parallel that I really enjoyed.
Although
And,
this time it was a
didn't he drop that one line, the iconic line from Superman Returns, "Great Caesar's ghost."
Great Caesar's ghost.
Great Caesar's ghost.
I will say I do like Maxwell Lord holding Tess hostage to gain access to the Book of Rel. I thought that was really well done. I thought that was
Apparently, he was working for the Red Queen. He
I
switched
thought that
sides.
I thought that was great though that Maxwell Lord came in there and it was like, I thought that was well done for him. I also liked Lois and the Tarzan joke where it says, "Oh, we're like Jane Tarzan and Jane, all without the crazy monkey lovemaking," and I'm just like, okay. And then Lois and then Mrs. Kent was like, okay, like I just like okay, that
You gotta love what she does as her references and making comparison.
I do like seeing Martha come back, and then of course, yeah, we already mentioned the Jonathan's jacket. I do like that awkward dinner they're having. Like it just
Oh yeah, you always gotta love that awkward dinner. You gotta add a little bit because this episode, even though the last episode was so dark and heavy, they need to add a little bit of a lighthearted humor episode to let it all calm things down for the tone.
I did like Clark having an awkward dinner. By Clark talking with Bayor's sister about the Book of Rel. I thought that was really well done and everything. And I also thought that Clark, and then of course, the things I did not like was one thing was I do like that it was all in Tess's head. Like Maxwell Lord had Tess on an operating table. I thought that was well done. I thought that I liked the idea of that where he holds her down, and all of a sudden when she realizes it's all fake, whenever Oliver says, "I've always loved you," and he's like, "What? No, Oliver doesn't." And like she goes, "No, Oliver doesn't."
That's when he dropped the ball. He dropped the ball and made it so damn obvious.
He was convincing until he said that. Then she's like,
And
"Nah."
here's the thing, they were all searching for the Book of Raoul. Zod, Martha, like all of them, and Tess was the only one who had the Book of Raoul the whole time. And she kept it hidden in the wine cellar. In the fucking wine cellar? Out of all the places that you could have hidden, you chose the damn wine cellar that nobody ever thought of it. You think that some of the fucking maids are not going to come in and search like, what the hell is this?
But to be fair, the evil Lex and what's it called? What's that one episode? Onyx, whatever it's called.
Yeah, Onyx. Well, no, he didn't drop him in the wine. He's dropped him inside somewhere in the basement that no one would be able to hear him. And
The wine cellar.
it's
He said he put him in his wine cellar. He said I put him in the wine cellar.
No, he didn't say he put him in the wine cellar. He's like, hey, I tuck him in where I could keep an eye on him. And it was if you watch that episode again, that was not a wine cellar.
I could have swore it was a wine cellar. I have to go
No,
back and get it.
no. It was just a bunch of junk that was kept in the basement and that he talked about his childhood. That remember one time that we used to go to the room and dad told us not to go in there and I just prefer to do it anyway. And then when the door blew shut, no one can hear him because it's a soundproof.
Okay, all right. Martha as the Red Queen, I thought was just dumb. I just thought that was so dumb.
Well, she created this whole persona as the Red Queen ever since that episode when Clark revealed himself and everything went down, all hell broke loose, and she's got to take it in her own hands that she needed to become the Red Queen and protect Clark and keep away from attention from him.
Well, you know what I think what it is I really think this is what happened. I think they were trying. I don't think Annette Toole was meant to be the Red Queen. I think what happened was they probably had somebody else in mind or something. I bet Tess was going to be the Red Queen. I bet anything.
I think, yeah, I definitely believe you. I know because when that
And then
episode,
when
that episode when it came on, I honestly thought it was Tess, but then I had to think about it, like, no, it can't just be Tess. It would be way too predictable if it was the Red Queen. It'd be way too on the nose. So they had to come up with something that no one ever thought that this character would be the Red Queen, especially with Martha Kent. And in the context of it, it kind of does make sense in some ways because she's all about doing whatever it takes to protect them, to keep them away from someone who is a threat to him.
I think the only reason why they made her the Red Queen is because because she said she left the Smallville because she had nothing to do with her character.
Yeah.
Like, and so I bet she told the writers, "Look, you find something for me to do, I'll come." And Perry has to be, and also my husband has to come with me. And so that's when they had to figure out.
And I'm coming too.
So of course they figure out, oh well, let's just make her the Red Queen. I think honestly, if she would have said no, I don't want to come on, then they would have probably not made her the Red Queen. They probably
yeah, you're probably right.
Tess would have been the Red Queen, or
it probably would have been Tess. It probably would have been their option.
Because then Tess would have been.
I honestly think that would have been way too predictable. Like we've known Tess for years in that show, and it just would have been way too.
You know who probably would have been then? Chloe.
Oh yeah, that I was just about.
Yeah, maybe Chloe. She would be capable of orchestrating this whole thing, but I don't think it would have fit well, to be honest with you. If it was,
I think it would have. It's literally just the same.
I don't know. I would have had mixed feelings about that.
I just feel like
who are the only two people on the series who had red head? Oh, guess who that'd be? Tess, Martha Kent.
But she's not.
The only
thing is, I guess I guarantee they were not expecting Annette O'Toole not to have red hair this season. They were probably like, she dyed her hair.
Well, sure, no, her hair just got gray because she's gotten older.
I bet you there was a conversation. Can you wear a wig or something?
She's nope.
Yeah, can you dye it back? No,
didn't they? I remember in Superman 1 when Clark was at the Daily Planet and he was willing to give half of the salary to his mom, and he mentioned that her hair is not like white, it's silver, which she did have silver in this show. A little bit of a similar parallel to the first Superman movie, a little bit of a callback.
I honestly like the fact that Maxwell Ward, because I mean he's the last surviving member of Checkmate, next to the Red Queen, because Zod destroyed the whole thing. It's gone.
Yeah, he needs to survive. He's a survivor. That's just his thing.
Yeah, which I thought. And
one thing I wanted to bring up, when he's getting a little bit of have a big hearing infection and problem with migraine, I was wondering, did he get knocked out or did he die? Did she just kill him? and took him out of the equation, or maybe he just knocked him unconscious and give him a big slight mind grade.
No, she knocked him unconscious.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I figured. Because if he died, then no, if he
Doesn't he show
died, that
up in
would
the
have been
next
so
episode?
dark and a little bit out of character for Martha Kent to do
I could
something
have
like that.
swore he showed up in the next episode.
No, no, this was the last time you were going to see Maxwell Lord in that episode. That was literally the
I
last
could have
time.
swore he come. You
He
know
was only in
what?
two. He was only appeared in two episodes. One was him trying to find the identity of the Blur, kidnapping people, including Lois. Then in this one, this was like the last time we see him in the show.
I could have swore he shows up in the finale one
Well,
last time.
maybe no, he doesn't show up for the finale. Maybe they might have mentioned him and made a little slight cameo, but I don't think you'll. But I do believe that you don't see him again because I remember that I would know if he did show up. No, this is the last time you see Maxwell Lord.
If unless any one of you has anything else, I think we can go to scores now. So Collins, 1 to 10.
I'm gonna give it 5 out of 10.
All right, Matt.
I will say that I liked the part when she was confronting Tess with a gun pointed at the back of her head. That was, I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty badass for Martha Kent to do that to Tess and called her out on her bullshit about what her agenda is because she knows that she was just an opportunist. She's all about playing any sides in order to survive because she only cares about herself. And and it got her thinking too. And I love that she just went straight forward, and I like that part. That was my favorite moment of this episode. So yeah, I'm gonna give this at least a 7. I liked it. I really did not hate this episode as much as you guys did.
I'll split the uprights and I'll go 6. This was decent, but the highs were high, and that's all I'll leave it at. But I guess it's time to go for predictions now, because you guys always ask me my predictions. I think my biggest prediction, I think Clark and Zod are going to have a fight of some kind. I sincerely pray to God it's not the wet fart that we got at the season 8 finale. I at least hope there's a punch thrown.
I will say it is a very good finale.
It was so much better than the other finale. It like we already know it's not much of a spoiler. They are going to come at their odds and face off at some point. It's inevitable that they are going to fight.
You're gonna like
that
it,
they are
Ryan.
building that anticipation of that face
What do you
off
think is
between
gonna
Zod and
happen
Clark.
though? What do you think?
And the one thing I will say that now we know what the Book of Ra is and what it does. It doesn't destroy everything. It's now taking the Kandorians and putting them into another plane of existence. And she kept the Book of Ra from Clark because she's afraid that she's gonna lose him because that's gonna include him. All Kryptonians will be away and exiled from Earth.
Ryan, what do you think is gonna happen?
Well, I think Clark finally tells Lois, because it's got to happen at some point. It might as well be here.
Shit her and get off the pot, like you said.
I sincerely hope so. Zod and Clark fight. I think Zod dies.
Hmm.
So Zod and Clark fight. Clark tells Lois Zod dies. Those are my big three.
That's not a bad prediction. It's not that far off, but yeah, I like that. And what do you think will happen once he uses the Book of Ra? Because we know what according to what Martha Kent, what it does. Do you believe that he'll get exiled too?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. Maybe. It's going to be tough to say because Clark's 0 for life against Kryptonian artifacts, like as we have seen. So it could end terribly for him.
Mm-hmm.
So what's a crazy prediction? Like one that you just have like a crazy.
Wait, here's the thing. Do you think the Kandorians are gonna find out what Zod really did to Fiora? Do you think that they're gonna know the truth?
Yes, I believe so.
Objection. Matt's leading. Ryan, objection. Matt's leading.
Sustained?
I don't know where that came from, but okay. Yeah, objection with stain.
He's leading.
Now you had to do.
Been watching a lot of Better Call Saul.
Yeah. Courtroom drama, bro.
I will say, what's the one crazy prediction? Like one you have that's like the craziest that just balls to the wall prediction.
Think outside the box. Just go crazy. We don't care. It doesn't matter. It'll be just great to hear you going outside the box of what you think that we never thought of.
Clark faces Bizarro again.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's my big one. But anyway, That is going to be happening 9 o'clock Eastern tonight when this airs. So be on the lookout for that, and we hope to see you for the watch party. We're doing a watch along style, so react along live with us, and we would appreciate that. But what did you think of these two episodes? Let us know in the comments. We would love to read what you have to say. It's a privilege to do this show with these guys every single week. Collins, what do you have coming up?
Well, I have well, besides we're doing the Friday, we're doing the watch party for the Hannibal season premiere. That's what we got coming up this Friday. And then on top of that, well, by the time this airs, we've already done that. My bad. I forgot we shot this. This is a week beforehand. Okay, by the time this aired, the Hannibal finale we had already watched the watch party for the Hannibal finale. So by the time this airs, this Friday, we will be doing the Batman Beyond watch party for the first two episodes called Rebirth, episode 1 and 2. If it's also, if you grew up in the 90s, it's called Batman Beyond the movie. But if you were just like have the Blu-ray disc or the digital episodes, it's just called Batman Beyond episode 1 and episode 2 Rebirth. Um, and I will be joined by these guys. I don't know if Jacob Martin's going to join us. I have not really talked to him about it that much. I'm going to
Didn't
reach
he?
out to him.
Didn't Jacob said that he'll join us for Batman Begins and that he's going to
Yeah,
skip on Batman Beyond.
I think he said that. Yeah, I mean, but I'm gonna reach out and see if he wants to do it. But no, really, what it is he had a family commitment that
Yeah,
day,
yeah.
so he couldn't
And
really
he
be
and
stuck
I
here.
could have sworn in the Facebook DM messenger he did say that I will be back for Batman Begins for sure
Oh,
once we
he
do the
said
Batman
yeah.
Begins watch party.
Which I'm gonna reach out to him and see if he wants to join us for that. If not, then yeah, we'll Batman
Yeah, no
Begins.
big deal.
But yeah, I also I have my reviews. I got a review coming out this. I just had a review come out that Friday, and this Friday I got a review coming out. Don't ask me yet because I have not. By the time this airs, I will have probably had dropped a review for the Winter Soldier, I believe.
Hmm.
The Winter Soldier,
Didn't
and
you do the Captain America the First Avenger, the
yeah, I
first
did a
movie?
first Avenger, and then I did Brave New World. I was gonna do the Winter Soldier next, but then I saw the Substance, and I'm like, I gotta recover the Substance. I don't know. I might do Daredevil. I might do the. I'm thinking about doing the first two episodes of Daredevil review, but I hate doing that because I don't want to do like first two episodes and then the rest shit. And then I got to do a second part to that video. I like just doing one video of everything at once. 'Cause I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like,
just like a season as a whole is what you're
yeah,
saying. Like just review it all at once for the whole season. I hear you.
but I don't know. I'm debating on it. I still got to watch Gladiator 2 and watch Wicked. I know that's what people
Wait,
keep saying.
you still haven't seen Gladiator 2
I
yet.
still haven't seen Sonic 3 yet, even. I've been
Oh,
watching lots of Better Call Saul. I mean, that's all
yeah,
I've been
it's
watching lately.
yeah, like Gladiator 2, Wicked is on Peacock, and Gladiator 2 and Sonic 3 are playing on Paramount
I
Plus.
own them. Dude, I got them on Blu-ray.
Oh,
Like, I
you
just,
own them. Oh, you have the
yeah.
Blu-ray. Oh, do you like
Well,
you
not,
have like you have Gladiator 2, Wicked, and Sonic
no.
3 on.
Wicked, I just got Wicked on Blu-ray. Gladiator 2 and Sonic don't even come out yet until
Oh yeah,
well,
yeah, 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 yeah. I hear you. Oh,
but
gotcha.
I just got like in the mail like Constantine and Nosferatu.
Oh God, I'm desperate to get. I'm gonna get Constantine on 4K soon.
Dude, watch the Blu-ray, watch the 4K special feature. They have like a 20 years later interview with Keanu
Oh,
Reeves
they
that they just
do? Oh,
shot.
that's so
Yeah,
cool.
it's Keanu Reeves and the director. They've been promoting the hell out of the movie because the
Oh yeah,
director
because
actually
it's the 20th anniversary.
they've been actually because you know what happened is that's why they're making Constantine 2 because they figured out or no, it was a while back they announced they're making Constantine 2, and so the director found out that they're doing a 20th anniversary and they asked if they wanted to do the 4K. So the director and Keanu Reeves went and they did a new interview. They got the original writer, Kiva
Mhm.
Goldsmith, Keanu Reeves, the director, and they got like a couple of people that worked on the movie to
I know,
also
and also once they do, and I hope that they make this movie soon. But
the
if they do, I hope it's not one of those times where Keanu Reeves goes back to the franchise that he knows, like Matrix, for instance. I hope it's not one of those Matrix Resurrection situation where, yeah, he comes back and then it just falls on its face. That's what I'm hoping that doesn't happen for Constantine 2, because I love the first one. Such an underrated DC uh gothic horror vertical storyline that they did back 20 years ago. Because at the time, this almost reminded me of Blade. When I watched Blade growing up as a kid, I had no idea this was a Marvel movie and a Marvel comic book character until I had years later. I had to do my research on it, and then I researched on Constantine. It's like, oh yeah, this is a DC character. This is based on a DC vertical. I had no clue because it did not feel like a comic book movie when you
It's
watch
actually
Constantine.
called the Hellblazer comics. It's called Hellblazer. Is a
Yeah,
Constantine called
yeah,
John
it was a
Constantine.
Hellblazer
It's
comic.
Hellblazer, and then and then Constantine. It's he's actually British, and he actually
Yeah, he's
like
British in the comic book, and Matt Ryan, who played Constantine on a television show on NBC that got canceled at the first season, then he moved it over to the CW on Legends of Tomorrow and became a regular on that later season on that show.
he actually did reprise his role for
Yeah, and
Constantine
he
in
voiced a lot of
a
he
DC
did voice
project,
Constantine in other animated DC
like
movies.
Batman, Justice League Dark, whatever, or
Or
Batman.
Justice League, yeah, Justice League Dark, and then he did Justice League Apocalypse War.
Which there's a funny scene. I don't know if you've ever. We might watch. I don't know, but there is a scene in Justice League Dark animated movie with Batman
Mhm.
where Constantine's playing cards with demons, and then he goes, "Hey," and the demon goes, "Hey," because they see Constantine's cheating with the cards, and he goes, "Hey, you're cheating." Well, to be fair, I've been cheating this whole time. You just now just noticed.
I've just been seeing this whole time. You just didn't notice.
To be fair,
I love Constantine that they explore the underworld of monsters, the supernatural. Because in Constantine the movie, it was way more heavily on biblical
the only thing I like is he's
of
too brooding. I like that. I like he's witty in the comics. He's like one of these like he's just like he is in the
he's more of a
NBC show.
reluctant hero. He's a reluctant hero.
He's really fun too. He's a really fun
But he's
character.
also fun. He could be a cocky asshole too.
Yeah, like I just like
But
that.
Keanu Reeves is Constantine. He's like John Wick. He's like the John Wick before John Wick became John Wick.
He goes
Whoa.
like,
Oh,
which
whoa.
I mean I don't know. I don't know. I'm excited, but
Did you
yeah,
know
guys,
they made the movie
Wow.
tie-in game? They made the movie tie-in game too.
Well, uh, subscribe to Collins's channel. Matt, what do you have coming up?
Yeah, I did a recent another third movie review movie roundup of my 2024. I covered The Brutalist, Conclave, and Nickel Boys for the Best Picture nominees. I will be doing the rest of more because I watched a lot of them recently to catch up on the Oscars, and I put up my spoiler review of Daredevil Born Again. And yeah, I go heavy on that episode, so definitely check that out. I don't think I'm going to be able to cover every single episode. I might just cover the series as a whole. It all depends if I'm ready to in my headspace. But yeah, I do got another review coming up with Mickey 17 because by the time we recorded this video, I'm seeing it tomorrow, and by the time you watch this, it would already be up on my channel. So definitely keep an eye open.
Yeah, I definitely want to see and review Mickey 17, but subscribe to
can't wait to
Matt.
see the sequel, Mickey 18.
I thought you were going to say Mickey 27. But subscribe to Colin, subscribe to Matt. They'll be on later tonight to watch along with the finale with me. As far as this channel goes, I'm in the middle of my Best Picture month where I'm covering a couple of Best Picture winners. The Amadeus review is now up this coming week. No, wait, it will have been up already. I will have reviewed Braveheart, which was a first-time watch for me, and then got a lot of other stuff in the cards. The Road to James Gunn's Superman is ongoing. Talking Silence is ongoing. So never been a better time to subscribe. So please do me a favor and do that. But for Jacob Collins, for Matt Wyatt, my name is Ryan Cam. For Truth for Justice for the American Way, always hold on to Smallville. Me in the future, play that clip.
Sharpton for president, y'all. I'm outie.